So you left the fiat mines last year, I believe, or was it 2 years ago?
But I started
Yeah.
to I got a foot out the door about, last Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving 2024, I started working in the Bitcoin mines. Was still in the fiat mines, but, was looking to get out 100%. So I was about, like, 50% out. And then, this year, I came on to work at Soapbox, and then I was able to finally leave the fiat mines completely. So it wasn't just, like a part-time side pursuit, because I was freelancing anyway. So to me, it wasn't hard to make the jump to make 100% of my freelance work be Bitcoin and Nostr, and be totally open source, and get out of the kind of all of those systems that are kind of old and dreary and closed and fiat. So, I'd started my first podcast, of Radio Detox, to talk about detoxing, mostly music off of the fiat system, but other things as well. So it became the interest, and over time, I've realized, oh, well, I could decentralize kind of everything. At different levels. There are different levels of freedom and decentralization, and what's right for you is right for you. And I realized I could, over time, I think even before I got here, even before I started working in Bitcoin, I had decentralized my healthcare, and, gotten out of the healthcare system, for example. Now I'm at a stage of things where, okay, I work full time in the Bitcoin Nostr open source space. I don't do anything fiat for a living, unless somebody wants to pay me for yoga and dollars or whatever. But I'm at a stage now where I'm like, oh, I can decentralize like my fitness and yoga too. So that's been kind of a fascination of trying to figure out, well, these things have become just as centralized as anything else. Just as centralized as healthcare, just as centralized as music or podcasting or AI. Like
Various
pick a thing,
things
it's
trend that way over
centralized.
time.
Yeah, things get
Yeah, like it
consolidated
doesn't.
and
It, yeah, I mean, so
homogenous.
it's kind of like the natural way that things go. Some
Uh-huh.
companies fail, some companies succeed, and when one company is succeeding more than another, sometimes they buy them out,
Yeah, it's a
and
natural
now that company
thing.
grows. It's a
Yeah.
merger, and then eventually, like there's a funny South Park episode about this from like 20 years ago. I don't, there's the little pharmacy and then like the Walmart massive pharmacy.
Oh,
Everybody's all
yeah.
angry that the Walmart comes to town and puts the small pharmacy out of business. So everybody starts
Mhm.
shopping at the little pharmacy. This little pharmacy is doing great, starts growing, starts doing more business. They expand, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then over time, now all the citizens are all pissed that there's this massive store in their little town and,
Yeah.
and they riot and tear it down. And they're like, how'd we let that happen again? It's kind of the natural way of things. I guess it's a cycle, so we need to break the cycle.
It would be nice if we could break things that are really annoying. Like, I have only two choices of internet, and neither are very good in the city where I live. And same thing for electricity. I have two choices, and neither are very good. And they're always going to raise their prices, because where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Is the corporation commission really
These
going to
little
prevent them from doing
duopolies
that?
exist everywhere.
Yeah, and so it's like, well, I may not be able to break down the internet or the electric company, but I can decentralize other things in my life, and I could stop eating fiat food. I mean, like, there's so many rabbit holes to go down, but I think the important one is that I believe in this enough to make this my full-time vocation, is that I'm gonna, bring my gift of marketing and talking to microphones, and bring it to this space, and do that. And then Derek caught the bug too. Managed to get Derek cleansed of the
Yeah.
fiat world, detoxed, if you
Yeah,
will,
we
off of the
talked
fiat
about that.
mines.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode a little bit, I
Yeah,
guess.
it was
And
breaking
you
news.
know, I've it was breaking news. Yeah. So
It was.
yeah, I did leave the fiat mine, and it's something that I wanted to do for a while because this is where my passion is, and Bitcoin and Nostr fueled that and facilitated that. And I would say that, Heather was right. Once you start decentralizing, one aspect of your life, you look into other ways to decentralize and other ways to opt out and other changes you can make. And one thing leads to another. And, you get so far down the rabbit hole and then you're like, well, there's only one last barrier, one last wall to tear down. And here we are.
And
But I
then
think
everything in your house is made of tallow. I'm t
I do have tallow soap that I wash my
Oh,
body
pretty.
with every day, thanks to Soap Miner. He keeps me clean. Yeah, Soap Miner's a good
Someone
guy. I
has
would
to.
highly recommend everybody to check out
We
his
love
soap.
him.